right, so you guys are moving down the hallway here, and I'll go ahead and start revealing some more here. All right, so you guys are there, or you guys have
another tunnel like where the gobs, another one where the gobs came out at us.
Any fancy stuff on this wall?
Filled with hidey holes.
Any fancy stuff on the wall? No, not right now. There isn't.
As we move our little guys down the hallway.
Okay.
Nothing here.
Let's have you guys go ahead and re-roll your stealth there.
Reroll and stealth. Skills. How come I don't have a bonus on skill? I'm proficient. Shouldn't give me 17, 19.
All right.
Significantly worse.
It's significantly worse. It's not awful, but it is worse. Yes. Okay. You guys are continuing down the hallway. At this stage, nothing else is happening. You are seeing these alcoves as you go. And up ahead, another brazier has appeared, and the light's still kind of burning in this one as well.
All right. Well, what's this one say?
Well, here comes more creepy art.
Hold the jar up. Let's see if the fairy's moving.
See if the fairy dances.
All right. Mr. Kendrick.
Yeah.
Can you hear me, Mr. Kendrick?
I can hear you.
Paging Mr. Kendrick.
Hello?
All right. I'm going to have you react to something here. I want you to be honest about how it feels.
I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm just going to have you react to it.
It feels painful and great.
Does it feel almost kind of like a I don't know, like a short bow attack, maybe?
Yes.
Why? Yes, it does.
Short bow.
All right.
Oh, man.
He missied.
No, because he is actually
advantage?
hidden right now and he had advantage.
Oh!
Oh no, not advantage. That turns it into very bad.
All right, so
Actually,
I am gonna, because it didn't add in that one thing I was
Really?
looking
They
for.
rolled a 20 on me? They get the advantage, gets the...
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Oh!
22, right?
Oh my goodness. All right.
Hi, Kendrick. It was nice having fun with you. You're dead now.
Kendrick, how many hit points do you have?
I'm sad to say I'm not exactly sure. Core stats.
It's on the right
I
side.
have. There's
Current.
lots of things on the. What am I looking at? The armor class
Current hit points.
Yeah, current hit points.
on the core stats page.
Yep.
Yep.
First line on the right
Current.
side.
20.
You have 20
Actually,
hit points?
8 now.
Okay, well, that's pretty good.
Hey, you rolled a
How do
6.
you have more hit points than I do?
Because you're wearing a priest robe and I'm wearing some.
I'm wearing
cool
scale mail.
jagged leather armor. I don't know. I don't even know if
okay, well, let's... So hit points, I don't
Let's
know
double
if
check.
that's exactly right, so let's maybe double check that real quick, just to make sure. Because I think you're going to get full hit points at the beginning of your character. So when your character first comes alive, you'll get the full hit points plus your con modifier. And then we rolled a dice before, and I don't think it's going to have the old dice rolls that we had here, as far as how many hit points you have
What's
currently.
your Constitution modifier?
My Constitution modifier is
A 1. So he's got a +1 on that.
So at the most he could have would be 19.
Yeah, at the very most.
That's what my max says.
18.
19.
Well, no, 18. Yeah, 18 would be it. Did I have you guys roll for hit points last time, or did we max out hit points second level?
I think we rolled.
Yeah, I think we rolled.
It could be that I just rolled crappy when we did that.
I have all the rolls. Or at least all my rolls in the text file.
Okay. See if you can find one where you did just 1d8 plus 1.
Hold on, let me hop back.
Try and search. And we'll edit this out, of course.
Hey, Google Drive. Where'd you go?
Yeah, because my Constitution modifier is 2, so 8, and then I would have gotten 7, so I couldn't have rolled the max. So he probably just rolled well.
So
At a 20, though? I don't know if that's possible. The most you'd have would be an 18.
Yeah, the most you could have would be 18.
stats. Here we go. Ah, crap. I don't have what they were. I just have an 8, 14, 14, 10, 12.
You literally just have the rolls.
All right.
Well, it's fine. You need to.
But there's probably an order here. Let's take a look. Let's see here.
I mean, I think even assuming that he rolled an 8, he'd have 18 hit points, and just go from there.
Yeah, that's true. We can
Or you
do
can have
that.
him,
We'll have you at 18 hit points.
or you can have him roll a d8 and 2 d8s, take the higher up, something like that.
Yeah, that sounds a little bit more fair. Let's do that. Have you type in /roll space 2d8.
He got an 8, so there you go.
Got an 8, legitimately. Okay, so that means that you would have 16. So you would have 18, right?
18.
18 hit points. Okay. So
But-
you just now took 12 hit points, 12 points of damage.
So my
Your
max
character.
is 18.
And your
And
current
your
should be
max
6.
is 18. Yeah, and current is 6.
6.
Correct. There you go.
If I remember right. Okay, this is right. Yeah. Okay.
All right. So let's have you guys roll initiative. Just click on your respective tokens, and then your initiative button will appear on the top left, and then you can just roll that.
Wow.
Yay! We're such great rollers.
Okay. And then,
How in the world did we just both... No, something is not right.
Kendrick gets a 17. Wow, that is just insane. All right, Kendrick, you are up, my friend, and you have
All right.
a goblin right down here.
I have a bow.
Okay.
Short bow him.
Yeah, that might be a good idea.
All right. Where's my
So go to your character sheet. You should have on your
my weapon?
weapons
Short bow.
stat. Just roll the attack button. Should be good to go.
Oh yeah, 18, buddy.
All right, that is a hit.
That's
So
cool,
go ahead and
man.
roll your. Actually, I think it already rolls your damage, right?
I think it
Nice. Isn't
rolled
that
my
awesome?
4.
Okay, so you get he gets 4 points of damage. All right, nice work.
How many hit
Let's
points
see.
does that punk have?
I'm not
Probably
gonna
more
tell
than
you,
four.
dude.
He's going down.
A little bit more than 4. I'm
You
just
should
gonna
tell us,
say
since
that.
we've already killed several of these. We would have remembered, had we?
How dare you?
I'm just saying.
Are you game mastering me? Is that what you're doing? I'm getting
I'm
game mastered
metagating.
here. You're back game. Meta!
Let's go. Do I have some kind of like?
He looks slightly over halfway dead.
He appears as if
What am I
he
saying?
were
You're
about
like
half
right
dead.
over here.
He
You're like,
looks as if he's had a stroke.
yeah, he just had a. He has a stroke.
The left side
The
of his body is drooping slightly.
Yeah, exactly.
I apologize to anybody who's had a stroke recently.
All right, let's see this guy dead. Let's go.
you want
Roll
to see him
somebody
dead?
else.
Well, he's
All
going
right.
to shoot you again. and you're gonna drop
Unfortunately,
him in a
though,
second.
unfortunately, it is the goblin's turn at this point. So the goblin archer is going to. He looks around back and forth, and he realizes the error of his ways because he's ducked down the wrong hallway, because as you can see, this looks a lot like that one chamber behind you that you saw that unfortunately has no way out.
Okay, so tell me this, DM. How does
You want me to wait to roll to tell you something? I mean,
how do I roll a natural 20, get a 21 on stealth, and this guy yet blinks me? Huh? Tell me
That was a long time ago.
that was the last roll. Then I had you guys roll again.
I
Remember?
just sucked.
Remember?
Stealth. I was 17. Ah, damn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it's not necessarily your 17 that did that.
Could have been my
It might
like
have been.
4.
It might have been the 8. It might have been the 12.
Oh, you mean,
Yeah.
oh, man. I got
Not my fault. I like to sing while I adventure.
The goblin killing me go! The goblin killing me go! All right. Crazy people.
All right, let's.
I'm
all right,
Beginning with
Yeah.
maniacs.
do your worst. Let's go. He
Yes,
doesn't
roll.
have advantage.
He does not
Yeah,
have
it is.
advantage at this point.
You just did a massive amount of damage. You better hope you better have.
He rolled
higher
a
than-
7. He rolled a 7, so
What
he
kind of
missed you.
short bow can do 10 damage? That doesn't make any sense.
It's a
Yeah,
D6.
especially.
Yeah, what the heck is that actually? Let me go back up to that original roll. Original roll was a D6. It rolled the D6. And here is...
It's a
That's
D6
fine.
plus 2.
How is it doing a 10?
You can't get a 10.
That's no good. I'll double check the character sheet here and just make sure the numbers are right. I went up and looked at the prior roll. That one looks legit, so that one's fine. But
Yeah.
But I see.
yeah, this one's weird.
I don't get the 10 though because I see 6 here.
I know. When you hover over it, it does say 6, but yeah, for some reason it's adding up incorrectly. You hear that? Roll 20.
Where did 10 come from? I don't.
No
where does the
idea,
10
but it's
come
something that you can ignore because the arrow goes sailing over your head, Kendrick. And that brings us to Baird Ironborn. And all of a sudden in front of you, you see Kendrick reel back with an arrow shot right in the chest. And then another arrow goes, he fires an arrow in, and you hear a goblin squeal in pain. And then another arrow comes flying out right past here and then landing in this wall back there.
All right.
All right, Baird, take him down. Burn
I
him.
am severely pissed because it is I am bound and determined, literally on my character sheet, to protect this man. So the fact that he just got a quarrel to the chest is making me unhappy. And so I think that means I could go the protecting as I'm going to heal him, or I could do Baird style protection, which means it's too far to get into melee because I was kind of back a ways, so it's kind of
Right.
a little too far. But if I open up my little spell book here, I have a little thing called
Dun-dun-dun.
Sacred Flame. Sacred Flame
Heck
means
yeah.
this guy has to save he has to do a dex check and save again. He has to get higher than 13, or I hit him with fire.
All right, here we go. Get the text check out here for this guy, and eyeball this datum for me to make sure that he's getting this done right. All right, dex save. Here it goes.
It's empty. Oh,
It is a 9. He does not save.
It is not
What's your
saved.
damage, my friend?
My damage is 1d8. It's not a powerful spell, but it's a reliable one.
Is his dex 15?
Whose dex?
The goblins.
Goblin. Let me go
14
back and
minus
double
10
check
divided by 10.
that. Goblin dex.
Because that's what's happening. All of this is the dex.
14.
Okay, well,
Dex
14 is
14.
is that still plus 2? Mod
14
plus
is
2?
plus 2. Yeah, the mod is plus 2. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what's going on. Is it's adding the damage also. It added a dex bonus to the damage.
Which is okay, but if he maxed a 6 on that, he would have gotten an 8 as his max damage.
Yeah, it's doing the. If you look at it, it's for some reason like the damage is put as 1d6 plus 2, but it's automatically adding the plus 2 for his dex.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
I
Then
think-
you know what?
I
It's the
think we
thing
can
on my
just
character
chalk-
sheet.
So it added the dex twice, is what happened.
Got it. I'm gonna deal with that right now.
Yeah, I'm a nerd.
No, you know what happened? I'm
How
looking
did
right
you
at my
do that?
character sheet, and it has a +2 in the damage dice. That's
you
where I
guys-
went wrong.
Did you
So-
figure that out?
Kendrick, do
by
me a
looking-
favor, and Kendrick, do me a favor and add 2 hit points back to you.
Oh yeah, baby.
All right.
So
Erna, you
I
just
just-
typed in rolling a d20, 1d8.
Yeah,
Is that your intention?
that's the damage.
wait,
But it
hits
just
him for
says
4.
it just says 1d8. I don't see any.
am I adding?
Oh,
right,
right,
there it is.
because I didn't bother
I
hitting. I
gotta
didn't
scroll.
bother hitting a damage button. I
I
literally
gotta
just said.
scroll.
I literally just did the damage. It's 4.
I did not scroll.
Am I?
Come on, man. Get in
I
the game. Get in the
I
game.
claim ignorance.
Yo.
All right. Bear charges down the hallway and goes inside and reels back, and he unleashes his sacred flame. Do you say anything
Gentlemen.
special at this point, Baird?
Well,
Adding 2 back or 4
Sacred
back?
Flame it does require some vocal shenanigans, so I can't really say anything because I'm kind of casting the spell.
All right. Well,
I think fire coming down from the heavens is enough. Do I really need to dress that up?
all right. So the goblin, already gurgling on an arrow at this point and trying to get ready to fire another one, sees his end come in the form of a brilliant flash of sunlight. And as the sunlight kind of gates outward from Baird's hand and goes into the goblin, you start seeing more of those images kind of out on the walls, and strange kind of looking shadows and stuff kind of get cast on the floor and everything, but it quickly disappears as the light dims again.
Okay, I'm immediately looking to Kendrick and his wounds
All right.
because I want to make sure he's okay. Now that the gob is dead, I want to make sure he's okay.
All right, I did have a question though.
Sure.
Okay, so did we add 2 back because it was 1? It was 6.
No, because what happened in my character sheet for the goblin, what ended up happening is I had typed into the damage 1d6 plus 2 because he has a dex bonus of plus 2.
Uh-huh.
So
And then
what
it
I
added
did,
the-
correct. So it added that, but then it was already, like you said, it was going in and trying to get that dex bonus again. So,
We were overthinking the system. Roll20 had
Yeah.
it built in, and we thought we had to add it.
So
pretty awesome. Roll
I'm
20.
adding 2 back, but they doubled the damage on me. So am I adding 4 back?
No, that was
no,
separate roll.
Yeah, that was a separate roll. So
okay.
that was for his sneak attack damage. Because not only you get sneak attack, my friend.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I just want to understand. And then,
I'm gonna go and while he's healing him, I'm gonna light up this room.
All right. So you cast light onto the room. Good on you.
Minor illusion, actually, but yeah, whatever.
It's a cantrip. Come on, that's all it is. No need
So-
to get all
I have another
technical.
technical question.
Go for it.
So how did we? When I'm looking at this short bow for the damage, right? We're talking about the damage, right?
Correct.
It was like I see 6 plus 2, then the floor of 14 minus 10 divided by 2. I don't see a second 2.
It's actually just built. It was at the beginning. It says 1d6 plus 2 is
Uh-huh.
the roll, and then down further, there's just a 2 that got added in. At least if you're looking at
Okay,
the same
so
one I was
Kendrick.
looking at.
That's how the 10K.
Basha, look at your short bow. Okay, what it says is you're on your damage for your short bow attack,
Yep.
1d6 plus the floor, 14 minus 10, etc., etc. What that's doing is that's a little equation to figure out what the bonus is based on the stat. So I'm going to guess your dexterity is 14.
Yes, should be.
Yeah. So you do 14 minus 10 divided by 2 to figure out what your dex bonus is. So that's your plus 2. Now, if you go down to Jeff's 10 damage, it's going to have 1d6 plus 2 plus that same equation because the goblin had the same dexterity you did.
So, okay,
Correct.
so that's the other plus 2. 14 minus 10 is 4, divided by 2 is 2. Okay, I see.
Right.
Alright.
That is.
So that when you take this out, Jeff, then when it rolls next, it won't say 1d6 plus 2 plus the floor. It'll just say
Right.
1d6 plus the floor. Okay. Alright,
Correct.
that's cool.
Yeah.
New math. They should teach a class on this in nerd school.
I've been wondering about that, why that hasn't happened yet.
That is one of the things that is good and yet bad about Roll20 is that I don't always know where all these numbers are coming from.
Yeah, because when you get used to that.
See, the thing is, though, is when you're actually playing the game, if you don't know where all those numbers come from, you'll forget them.
You'll forget them.
And end up either overdoing something or underdoing something. So it actually does kind of help.
No, I get
it makes
that it helps, but what it doesn't do is I've never
explain
actually
why.
rolled these dice and counted up and go, okay, I need to roll this die and then a +2 and then my dex bonus, So now
there are pluses and minuses.
I get it now. Now
Quite
that I know where
literally.
it's coming from, I'm a coder. I'd rather do it in code anyway. So this is good.
Gotcha.
All right, so I'm tending to wounds here. My only heal spell uses up a spell slot, and I don't want to do that yet.
But you have.
We've got like 17 potions.
I've got a bunch of potions, and I have the medicine skill.
Right.
So I don't know if you'd let me roll on that or not. I'm looking to tend his wounds. You tell me what happens to that.
I don't even know, what does the medicine skill do?
Oh, why don't we take a look? So a lot of times it can be used for stabilities. Do you have a healer?
It's like first aid, right?
Yeah.
All right. So it's really good for when people are dead or are on their way of dying and they're having to do those saving throws.
Mostly dead.
Exactly, when they're mostly dead, and they're still willing to brave, and to brave. But in medicine, what you can do with that, let's see here, is a wisdom check that lets you try to stabilize a dying companion or diagnose an illness. So if he was dying and he was under 0 hit points, yes, this would help stabilize him. But as far as a diagnosis goes, doctor, he has a foreign object in his chest.
All right. Well said. Well said.
I'm a cleric, Jim. Okay. So yeah,
I'm a cleric, not an archery instructor.
Yeah, that's right. I'm a cleric, not a pincushion. So yeah, you guys can use a cure light wounds.
I have an inventory here. Let's see. Does a sleeping cat fan help? No. Okay.
Ooh, it does not. Not in this case.
How about a crowbar? Crowbar help?
It would definitely get the arrow out.
I do have 2.
Silas, while they're doing that, what are you up to?
I'm running some light around this room, taking a closer look at the engravings. Are they the same? Are they different, etc.?
Okay. These ones are a little bit different. They do still have that kind of motif of people carrying vessels, but in this case, the vessels are empty. And over towards the back of the room, down here on this wall, there is a larger platform. That's kind of, again, you got to kind of visualize it as being a relief in the wall, a bas relief in the wall that's kind of gives you that three-dimensional feel. But it's a larger altar, and that's where everything has been kind of piled up. Now it's symmetrical. The pile is, and it seems like that's just kind of the way they carved it, or is that intentionally the way they have people?
And it's an altar, not a brazier.
In this case, it's basically a concept of an altar. Yeah.
It's like a table. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys, go pile.
Skull pile. Yeah. So, Baird, you wanna give him, or actually no, you have the potion, correct?
I have my own potions.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you want to roll a d8?
To drink a potion?
No, that's how many hit points you get back.
How many hit points you get back?
Yeah.
Really, you're rolling your hit die is what you're doing.
Yeah.
Roll 1d8.
So
I was looking in the rules here. It might be in the player's handbook, like the full book, but I don't know if you add your con to that. I don't believe you do.
I do have. Let's see here. We do have. No, that's not poison. Never mind.
No, actually, I mean that's pretty good, dude. So you were how far were you down? You were down 10 points at this point, right?
Yeah.
10 points. Okay, so you've got 6 of those back. So now you're only down 4 hit points.
all right, I wanna roll because I actually have a cleric that knows some things about religions. Which is a thought. The earlier ones could have been vaguely religious or not, so I wasn't really particularly. But this is clearly an altar.
Yeah.
And so I want to know if there's anything I've studied or have learned about or even dealt with in a bad way that I have some kind of knowledge of what ceremonies might have happened here.
All right, good. So yeah, give me a skill check then. All right, that's pretty good. Okay, do you want the good news or the bad news?
Oh, we're dealing with some kind of weird human sacrifice cult, aren't we? Yeah, go ahead and give me the good news first.
All right, the good news is,
they don't like.
It looks like the type of flow that you're seeing, like you were very astute at the beginning. You made a good observation when you saw the first chamber that you're wondering, or whoever made that observation, is that
that was
wondering
me.
if it's I wonder if it's kind of like a story or a flow that's kind of going to it. And you can, between the first chamber and this one, there's some kind of a flow going on here, because the first chamber looks like they're bringing stuff to the brazier. The second chamber here looks like they're walking away after having done said breaking or bringing. Did you just kick somebody? Why would you kick him?
He kicked
you're
the
kicking the dead
for
goblin.
shooting him.
Right, so does Kendrick actually do that? That's kind of cool.
Kendrick would actually do that. Yes.
He walks over. The dwarf just kind of comes over and just kicks the dead goblin. Actually, you kick loose from the goblin. You actually kick loose 4 gold come tumbling out of a pouch at his hip. You want to try kicking? You want to try kicking him again to see if he gives out?
Is it like some kind of weird pinata?
It's a cool pinata. No, nothing happens again. But yeah, I like that you're putting the brackets around it. It's very coder of you.
It's an action. It's not.
It's not actual talking. You're actually doing something. Got it. Okay. All right.
So what else do I know about this awful?
Okay. So the good news again is that you did find that this is basically kind of a flow, a pattern. Before Kendrick got shot, taking a look at the brazier out there, you do notice that the people there also have empty vessels. They have empty platters, they have empty amphors. You can see they're kind of like turned upside down, because you can clearly see that the base is at the top at this point, so it shows that they're empty. But what you remember is that in some of your studies back at the temple, when you were kind of digging into your books and stuff, there was stories of a very ancient worship, not so much of human sacrifice, but of sacrifice of the empty vessels. This particular, it's not quite a cult. It was old enough that it might have been dismissed as a cult, because
of course it's not a cult.
It might have been a full-blown religion, but it was one of those things that it sounded so disgusting that you're just like, I don't want anything to do with it. But what ended up happening is that this group, in order to worship their god, what they would do is they would go and they would dig up their favorite ancestors. They would go into mausoleums, and what their tenets of their faith was to basically disregard empty vessels, to take them and bring them to an altar to their god. And that's what this god wanted. What was your question, Kendrick?
So they're French then.
It does bring into mind the tunnels below Paris and everything. Yeah, it kind of does, but not quite. I mean, in this case, from what you understand, there was a certain type of flame that was put onto the altar after everything was put down.
Gosh, could it be like this magical blue, not hot flame that we've been dealing with?
It seems to be tying the room together.
Yeah.
Next
so there you
hole.
go. So it's an old faith. You don't quite remember what the name of the cult or the god or whatever that was supposed to be part of this. But again, in this room, there doesn't seem to be any kind of graffiti or anything. In fact, the walls, though they look like they're kind of overgrown with some moss here and there, just because there's moisture in here, it's cold, it's dank. There is some dirt on the ground here that's kind of seeped through the flagstone. But for the most part, it looks pretty clean. I just wanted to ask, did anybody touch anything in here? Or attempt to kind of feel along the wall?
Bear doesn't touch gross things.
Okay.
I was trying to touch the skulls earlier.
Did you? I thought you were
them.
joking around.
No, I was trying to, but then I realized they weren't a bowl of skulls. Then I thought about, well, I did brush one.
I just have this image of Kendrick grabbing one of the skulls and pulling.
I brushed the dust off one of those skulls earlier.
Okay. With what? With your hand or with what?
With my hand, yeah.
Hand. Okay, when did you do that? Was that in the last room?
It was, yeah, I was in that other room that looked like this one.
Okay. All right.
That's going to be very bad for us, I realize.
Why so dark and sad and stuff? Don't say things like that.
Yeah, I just washed some dust off a skull.
Because when a DM randomly says, "Hey, did you guys touch anything?"
Well, it's important that as your characters move through a particular scene that you tell me what you guys are doing, just so I can have an idea.
Yeah.
It's a learning experience for Basha, too.
You're a god. You say yes.
You say yes.
Give me a wisdom save. So if you go to your core stats and just roll wisdom.
Wisdom is not my strong suit. Otherwise, I probably
clearly
touched it.
You touched something.
You're touching skull things in dark holes. Yeah.
Wisdom
It is
save. Oh yeah, that's a great score. Come on.
Okay. All right. So when flashing back briefly, you're kind of in the heat of the moment. And you're looking at the bas relief that's on the floor, on the wall there, and you're thinking, man, it looks like I could almost just kind of grab that skull and move it. And so you're thinking, I wonder if it's actually something it is actually movable, maybe. And so you're kind of dusting at it, and you're using your hand and stuff. You've got your gloves on that have the fingertips open, so that you can actually kind of manipulate locks and stuff like that. And so you're brushing at it. And as your hand kind of goes over one of the skulls, these things are life size. So you're standing next to this wall, and the person that's been kind of carved into the wall that's holding this platter of skulls looks life size. So you're kind of having to reach up a little bit because of being a dwarf, was shorter. And as you touch it, you feel like it almost moves in your hand, like you could actually literally pick this up. And when you do that, you start.
Oh, I never said I picked it up. I would have.
Well, no, you don't pick it up. But when you touch it, like I said, it feels like you could almost pick it up. And when you get that sensation, you feel a breeze all of a sudden, and you look around briefly, and through your vision, there's almost kind of like a veil. That's a misty veil that's before your eyes, and when you look, it's almost like this place is different. Whether it's, you're looking and it's like, for a second there, you're looking at the wall, and the wall is free of moss, it's free of debris. The stone looks the exact same, so the quality of the stone doesn't seem to have changed at all, but everything seems clean. But then you lift your hand away, and it dissipates. The mist kind of goes away, and you realize, wow, I must really totally be letting that light start playing on my head. But yeah, that's what happens.
Okay.
And so as you as you were kind of going in here and you were kicking the goblin, you're so focused on giving him a kick for shooting you, and you scooped up the gold and said, "Yeah, that's right. I got your money now." And so you turn around and you're heading back in this direction here, and you're thinking, "Whoa!" You're like looking at the different people kind of standing around here walking, but they have empty vessels now. You know, the altars, the platters are empty, the amphors are empty, all that stuff.
Whoa, can I still see then this like kind of ghost blue world thing?
No,
I'm picturing it.
that kind of faded away when you released your hand off of the skull.
So I should probably mention this to my comrades here, although I feel a little ashamed that they would know.
How come? Why would you feel ashamed?
Because
No, it's good. It's a good thing to ask because it delves into your character. So when I ask Carol questions like that, it shows more character development.
okay, so my character is the rogue, right? He's not the wisdom guy or the history guy or anything like that. So when you touch something and something weird happens, I would kind of, my character Kendrick would get this like feeling like, whoa, I probably shouldn't have done that. And then I will eventually tell them, like I'll tell them right now, but while I'm telling them, I'll be like, I probably shouldn't have, but back there I touched a skull. And when I did, there was this like thing that happened, and as I try to explain it to them, they're both looking at me like, oh man. At least that's the way I imagine
Well,
it.
how's that conversation go with you guys? So Kendrick says
Baird will be pissed.
See? I know Baird.
Yeah, Baird basically gets all up in your face when you tell him that.
I brushed some dust off the skull back there, and well, the world kind of faded away, and I saw stuff.
We're in a strange place, battling goblins, and you go touching skulls. What's wrong with you?
It was cool. It was a skull, man. It's just brushing the dust off of it. I didn't think anything would come of it.
Baird, in his true, even though these guys are actually, I think we're actually really close in age, but in true like old man fashion, I'll brush the dust off of you.
So what's it mean? What do you think? What is it? Should we touch something else and see if it happens again?
Silas, how are you taking
not
this?
touch anything. That's not only Baird being. That's not even Baird being overprotective dad. It's also Baird doesn't like gross things.
That's true.
It's a double duty there.
Curiosity just got him, though. I mean, it's like if we don't have an explanation, let's figure out what this is.
So now Kendrick just starts touching everything.
Oh no! Come on, Baird. Just reach out here and see what I see.
So what's Silas doing while the two dwarves are going back and forth about this?
I think I'm going to touch the fire.
Touch the fire.
Oh, good.
So,
you know what, Luke? If we were to ever make like InnRoads Plays D&D T-shirts, that's just one right there. I want to touch the fire.
Yeah.
Touching skulls and fire since 2014.
For all your relifing needs.
For all your relifing needs.
All right, so Silas goes up to the big kind of altar / brazier type thing that's up there, and you're gonna reach for the fire.
Yeah,
that's
okay,
funny.
so...
I'm automatically like imagining silly Christian junk T-shirts. Touch the fire for your relifening. I want to touch the fire.
For your relifing, only touch the fire. All right, so okay, give me a wisdom check.
There we go.
Boom.
I'm good.
All right. Okay. So Silas goes up to the brazier, and as he's kind of going up, there's two steps that kind of lead up to the brazier, and you step up each one, and you reach up. You got to have to kind of brace one hand on the stone brazier, and then put the next hand up so that you can actually touch the flaming stones. Again, they're warm, but they're not hot. You can actually touch them, but it's not so much. That part. Yeah, it's not so much the touch of the stones that kind of gives you this kind of brief glimpse, but it's actually your hand on the altar itself, or the big brazen brazier that's there. So you have your hand on there as you're kind of bracing to touch the fire, and all of a sudden it's very quick, and it's almost kind of like a stutter in your vision, like it just kind of fades in and out. And as you look around the altar where you're standing, you're seeing humans bowed around it, and their empty vessels are on the first step of the altar around you. And in fact, when you look down at your feet, again, the vision kind of blinking back and forth, you see like an empty jar next to you, and then on your right side and on your left side there's an empty platter. And as your hand, when you're looking at your hand, instead of the fire, like the coals that are there, you're actually touching a skull. But then the vision just kind of blinks away, it's gone.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, Bear, you gotta try this.
For you two, Kendrick and Bear, roll me perception checks.
Alrighty.
Perception check. Every time I hear perception check, I realize that when I first heard that term, when I first heard Turner say that term over a year ago, I had no idea what it meant.
Right.
So, perception.
And I have advantage, right?
Not quite. Okay. You guys kind of both got a similar thing. When you see both of you kind of like are talking back and forth. You're arguing about how, Kendrick, you got to make sure you're not touching things. You got to make sure you're careful about what you're doing. You're doing that whole back and forth, and you glance over and you see Silas going up there and touching, and
his eyes rolling into the back of his head.
No, not quite. But you do, when you see it happen, you see his face kind of like, I don't know, it's hard to describe. It doesn't quite fade and change, but there is kind of like this kind of strange masking that goes over his face, and then it fades just as quickly as you see it.
Oh, good. So after we see that happen, is he still like touching the fire?
Silas, how long do you hold on to it?
I'll let it go once the vision disappears.
Yeah, you shake it off pretty quick. That's why it was only like brief flashes. But yeah, you shake it off, and you're able to like release where you were touching.
So Baird immediately is like, what happened? What happened? What's going on?
You were right.
It's cool, huh? Let's look at it again.
Let's look at it.
I'll just describe to him that there were worshipers here, and I saw them, and they had described the situation, and it's the same thing that he described when he was doing his research, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Kind of the same thing. Yeah.
I don't like this. I don't like it at all.
So what do you guys want to do?
I think I just want to kind of press on.
Yeah, let's keep going.
Next hole.
All right.
So far, there was nothing to indicate these people are evil. I mean, they are sort of grave robbers, and they burn skulls and whatnot.
Of skulls.
They're pre-dead skulls.
But they're already dead.
Yeah.
All right, so
And
you
this is
guys are.
somebody, who interacts with the Fae and,
Right.
considers their...
One of you is going first. I'm not going first
Yeah.
anymore.
My interaction with the
Yeah.
Fae is dancing. No, I should do that. I should do that in character.
Yeah. Here's my
interaction.
impression.
My only interaction with the Fae is the dancing pixie in my pocket. I don't want to deal with this.
Nice. All right. So, you guys going sneaky again, or are you guys pressing forward? Because that was the last goblin that was in that group.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we need real stealth checks.
Yeah, I'm kind of just, weapon ready, but
At this point, we're fighting, so let's just go.
We've clearly made it known that we're here.
I'm too ticked off to be stealthy.
All right.
The next level of.
I'll pause here. I'll pause here for a moment, and I wanted to, and this might actually for the home team, this might be kind of good to take a quick break. And when we come back, what we'll do is we will discuss a little thing called inspiration. I think we all have, those of watching this at home probably have some experience with this, having already probably played D&D in your own home squad. But what we'll do is we'll just take a quick moment and talk a little bit about inspiration. So we'll be right back. Watch the next episode.